The Indiana Fever beat the Dallas Wings 102-83. This was a highly anticipated game because it was going to be the first time that Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers would be going up against one another in the WNBA.
For the past 5 years, fans have followed one of basketball's most exciting rivalries, Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers. Both were standout stars in high school but took different routes. Clark chose Iowa, while Bueckers went to UConn. In college, Clark often had the upper hand, especially during the NCAA tournament. Some, including coach Gino Auriemma, wondered if her college success would carry over to the WNBA. Last night, the two finally met on a professional court as the Indiana Fever took on the Dallas Wings. What followed wasn't just a regular game. Caitlin Clark made history once again, achieving something only she's done twice. Want to know what record she broke? Drop a CC record breaker in the comments and let's dive in. She just plays like a seasoned pro, one player said. She's confident, smooth, and can score from anywhere on the court. It's just how she's always played. In college, Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers took very different routes. Bueckers joined the powerhouse UConn program under legendary coach Gino Auriemma, stepping into a winning dynasty. Clark, on the other hand, went to Iowa, a school with something to prove. That decision led to some unforgettable NCAA tournament matchups that shaped both of their legacies. Clark came out on top in most of those battles. She famously dropped 41 points in a March Madness game that sent UConn packing. She won 2 out of their 3 head-to-head matchups, clearly outperforming Bueckers when it mattered most. That's when fans and analysts started choosing sides, turning their rivalry into something bigger than college basketball. Some even argued Paige was Caitlin before Caitlin, or claimed she was the better player. The debate only grew louder, and last night's pro showdown added even more fuel to the fire.
Hey, Caitlin. You've known Paige since middle school, AAU. You guys were on the U19 World Cup team together. Is there anything that maybe stood out then about her, whether it be on or off the court, that maybe still reigns true today?
I mean, I feel like she's played in the same manner that she, has since she was, whether we were on the U16 team together, U19 team together, whether it was me watching her in AAU, like she's always just been smooth. She takes what the game gives her. Her midi has always been as nice as it's been this year. She's just she just plays way older than she is. Like she's confident, she's smooth, she just does everything at a high level, can score from all 3 levels.
Playing Fever basketball, which is a fast-paced style of basketball. They played Fever basketball for I would say about 75 to 80% of the game. And we have obviously seen this style of basketball. Numbers told a different story. Caitlin Clark has already posted better stats in the WNBA than Paige Bueckers ever did in college. UConn coach Gino Auriemma didn't hold back when it came to Clark. He openly criticized her shot selection and questioned whether her game would hold up in the pros. In contrast, he praised Bueckers for her fundamentals and consistency, believing her style was more suited for the WNBA. In the end, it came down to 2 very different approaches to greatness: Clark's high energy, explosive scoring versus Bueckers' calm, efficient control. 2 elite players, 2 opposite styles, and now both are on the biggest stage.
People are saying, everything is she was Caitlin before Caitlin, she's better than Caitlin and all this stuff. That kind of stopped in the media. Caitlin Clark put up better numbers in the WNBA than Paige didn't.
Recent rough patch with the Fever made this matchup even more important for her image. She admitted to feeling frustrated, especially since the shots she's missing are usually ones she makes. She shared a conversation she had with the team's player development coach, who reminded her that even the greats, like Steph Curry, go through slumps. He told me Steph went 27 for 70 at one point, Clark said. The best in the world go through it, and that's where I try to find confidence. Clark added that she trusts her preparation and knows the struggles won't last. I've worked too hard for this to define me, she said. I'm still getting the shots I want, they'll fall.
Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any...
Playing Fever basketball, which is a fast-paced style of basketball. They played Fever basketball for I would say about 75 to 80% of the game. And we have obviously seen this style of basketball thrives in a fast-paced, transition-heavy offense, but coach Stephanie White's system doesn't give her that freedom. Things came to a head during the game against the Atlanta Dream, when Clark and White had a heated exchange caught clearly on camera just before halftime. Their body language and tone left no doubt, tension was high. And it wasn't just a one-off moment. That game showed several signs of deeper issues between Clark, the coaching staff, and even teammates. Something isn't right behind the scenes, whether it's the locker room, coaching decisions, or front office direction. This was the third visible situation involving Clark and the staff in just one game. On top of that, the lineup kept changing. Clark was working her way back from injury. Dears Dantas had just returned from international play. And it all threw off the team's rhythm. The Fever couldn't settle into a consistent rotation or offensive flow. Players seemed unsure of their roles, and the chemistry that once fueled their winning streak was gone. Missed shots, constant turnovers, and zero fast break opportunities, Clark's signature style, left the team looking flat. Even Clark admitted the inconsistency. We play a good game, then a bad one, then a good one again. We just can't put it together consistently.
My coach yesterday, and he was like, just sent me a few things of like even Steph going through a slump. I think he was like 27 for his last 70 or something like that. Like the best in the world go through it. And I think that's like where you can find your confidence. And I think the thing I always fall back on is like, I know how hard I've worked. So, this isn't something that's going to last. And the best players in the world go through this. So I feel like I'm getting good shots. And I think that's why it's frustrating, because those are the shots that I make.
Clark's shooting slump became a hot topic during this stretch, with fans and analysts alike expressing concern. But Clark didn't let it shake her. She admitted it was frustrating but made it clear she wasn't going to stop taking her shots. In her words, "I'm never going to stop shooting," even comparing her situation to the cold spells that NBA great Steph Curry goes through. The Fever eventually snapped their losing streak with a win over Atlanta. But while the scoreboard showed victory, the bigger issue hadn't gone away. The tension between Clark and coach Stephanie White was still there. That philosophical disconnect, the clash between Clark's instinctive play style and White's rigid system, wasn't resolved. It was simply paused. As Clark put it, "It can be frustrating when your shot isn't falling, but when I look at the stat sheet, I'm really just 4 shots away from having a great game."
I feel like this stretch, this is a big game for us. I think we've struggled in the fact that we're able to play one good game, and then we play a bad game, then we play a good game, then we play a bad game. So I think for us is like, we got to find a way to be able to stack really good games together. And then we go on the road and, we're on a back-to-back, which is just a challenge in itself. No matter who you're playing, we play Connecticut, then we play New York. So I think Steph's message was, yes, All-Stars coming up, that break's coming up.
Playing Fever basketball, which is a fast-paced style of basketball. They played Fever basketball for I would say about 75 to 80% of the game. And we have obviously seen this style of basketball. She said that really helped lift her spirits, and so did that perfect pass to Mitchell. Then came Cunningham, attacking the closeout. Clark followed it up with a big defensive stop, rejecting Quinterly at the rim. And just seconds later, Clark fired a full-court pass right on target, a flawless assist that looked more like a touchdown throw. The Fever were rolling early on, though it wasn't clear how the game would play out. Both teams spent the first quarter testing each other. The Fever looked solid but not unstoppable. They were slowly finding their rhythm, with Clark focused on setting up her teammates. The Dallas Wings were staying close, and things remained tight. Here's Clark now, hounded by Isolisa James, but she sidesteps, fires from deep, and nails the 3. Then she backs down Quinterly in the post with 6 seconds on the shot clock.
There is definitely something going on within the locker room, the front office. Something is off, man. This is the third situation in one game we have had involving Caitlin Clark and the coaching staff and pretty much another player. And it looked like Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White definitely had a situation where they was in a heated exchange right before halftime.
Faded away and dropped it in, smooth and effortless. Then, off a screen, she sliced through the lane and dished it to Howard for an easy bucket. Another assist for Clark, her 13th of the night, while Howard reached 18 points. Then came the second quarter, and everything changed. Clark shifted gears and took over the pace of the game. She started launching those full-court passes that fans love to call touchdown passes. The Fever exploded for 36 points in just that quarter, outscoring Dallas by 21 in 10 minutes. It wasn't just impressive, it was beautiful, fast-paced, unselfish basketball at its finest. Clark later mentioned she was reminded of a stat about Steph Curry going through a shooting slump, and it gave her comfort. And then came another perfect pass, this one right on the money to Mitchell. Clark came out with fire from the opening tip. A rebound bounced long, Mitchell grabbed it and took off. No one was catching her. She finished the play with an easy 2, and the Fever kept rolling.
You know, it can be frustrating when your shot isn't going in the way that you want it to. But then, like, I look at the box, and it's like I'm really 4 shots away from having a really good game, a really good shooting game. So that's where you find your confidence. And I know those are shots that I can make, and I'm never going to stop shooting. So, I mean, until I break out of it, I'm just going to keep launching, and that's all I know. And I'm still confident in everything that I can do.
Brought out the best in each other with their intensity and hustle. One great example? Aaliyah Boston fired a beautiful pass to Kelsey Mitchell for an easy basket. Caitlin Clark's leadership was clearly rubbing off. Her teammates were locked in. Kelsey Mitchell was on fire, scoring 20 points while hitting 8 of her 12 shots. She extended her streak of games with double-digit points to 21. She looked confident, feeding off Clark's pace and playmaking. Natasha Howard ran the floor hard and finished with 18 points, making 8 of 9 shots. She was relentless at the rim. Aaliyah Boston controlled the paint, using her strength to finish nearly every chance Clark set up. Their chemistry was flawless. Clark would draw defenders, then find Boston for the easy bucket. Mitchell even returned the favor later, assisting Boston for another score, bringing her to 13 points. Indiana was shooting a scorching 66%, but the real headline? The Fever put up 64 points in the first half, a new franchise record. That broke their previous high of 63, set back in 2016. It was also the most points scored in a half by any WNBA team so far in the 2025 season. They tied a team record with 30 assists, 13 of them from Clark. She didn't just make plays, she made her teammates better. The ball was moving beautifully. Every pass mattered. Every possession was a threat. This was the best basketball Indiana has played all year.
Leigh Rue the other night had a season-high 18 points. Here's Boston turning the corner. Dishing to Hull, extra feed Clark, a deep 3, you bet! And he actually brought up stats from a shooting slump Steph Curry went through. She said that made her feel a lot better. That pass will as well, right on the money to Mitchell.
Cunningham attacked the closeout.
Clark, the rejection of Quinterly. Clark, the flick ahead. Oh, beautifully done! Touchdown Fever!
Caitlin Clark made WNBA history again, quietly building a stat line during the game that only one player had ever reached before, and now she's done it twice. She was in full control on both ends of the court. Offensively, she scored 14 points without forcing shots and racked up 13 assists, setting up her teammates with precision. But where things really got special was on defense. Clark started reading passing lanes like a seasoned vet, anticipating the Wings' next move before they made it. Her timing was perfect. Then came the moment that sealed it. Clark grabbed her 5th steal of the night. That gave her a line of 14 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals. With that, Clark became the only player in WNBA history to reach those numbers in a single game twice in her career. No one else has done it more than once. Her impact didn't stop there. She also had a crucial block that immediately turned into a fast break assist to Sophie Cunningham, showing her total court awareness, turning defense into offense seamlessly. This wasn't just a strong game. It was a historic, complete performance that proved again why Caitlin Clark is one of a kind.
Clark being hawked by Isaiah James. Clark sidestepping 3 is good. Clark backing down Quinterly. 6 to shoot, baiting away and dropping it in. Beautiful. Here's Clark off the screen. Through the lane, feeds Howard. Another assist for Clark. That's 13, as Howard is up to 18 points.
The most telling statistic was Orike Onali going 0 for 10 from the field and finishing with only 2 points. Orike is supposed to be one of the Wings' best players, but Clark's defensive pressure and the Fever's team defense made her completely ineffective. This poor performance from a key player highlighted the Fever's total dominance. The Wings' strategy of being physical with Clark backfired completely. They resorted to grabbing her off the ball and not switching screens. This approach was ineffective because Clark used their aggression to find open teammates and drive to the basket. Every time they tried to slow her down physically, she found a way to make them pay. The final score of 102-83 told the whole story. Clark had answered every critic and silenced every doubter who questioned her WNBA readiness. This wasn't just a good game. This was a statement performance that showed she belonged among the league's elite players. This historic performance proved Clark wasn't just adapting to the WNBA. She was rewriting what was possible at the professional level. The rivalry with Bueckers had reached a new chapter, and Clark had written the opening pages in dominant fashion. I feel like this was one of their best games as far as playing Fever basketball, which is a fast-paced style of basketball. They played fever basketball for I would say about 75 to 80% of the game. And we have obviously seen this style of basketball